This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing. We done gone worldwide, and we coming straight out of Baltimore. And if you in town, pull up on us. We're on the block with it at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you're not in town, go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Before I get started, I just want to say it's a requested video and everything in this is alleged. With that being said, let's get right into it. For most people, as we get older, it becomes easier to understand life. The way you move and the choices you make dictate to the outcome of a lot of situations. For example, if you choose to settle down, go to work every day, come home and spend time with your family, not saying nothing bad can't happen, but it's less than likely you get caught up in a crazy situation. Because at that point, you are put up out the way and not rubbing shoulders with certain individuals or in the streets. It's an easy civilian life on the sidewalk. But when you are a young man or woman, it's all about excitement. Living fast, you want to be associated with them known faces and names in your city. You want to hang out, be in the mix, date, play the field. It's nothing wrong with that when you are in your youth. That's what you're supposed to do. But with being young comes making mistakes, following the crowd, not realizing you are guilty by association. Like if your homie decides to go rob somebody and them people know that's your mans and the person you be with every day, when that get back comes around, it's a strong possibility if they can't get him, they will definitely target you. The streets are worse nowadays, with people dropping locations, backdoor culture, switches, and big guns. It being all about gang, and who can crash out or lose their life the fastest. A lot of times, unfortunately for the youth, they don't live long enough to know it's more to life and to even learn from their mistakes. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a backdoor home invasion and a woman found gone in a Baltimore City park. Back in 2024, 19-year-old Andrew Blessing was a young man navigating life in Baltimore. Described as laid back, humble, and polite, Andrew had came from a good upbringing, growing up in Towson, Baltimore County, where his family's home had been passed down for generations, over 50 years, on a quiet block. Now a young man, Andrew was taking classes so he could be a part of the family business and become a HVAC technician. Besides, he had to grind extra hard. He was a young father of a 3-year-old girl who he adored and worked hard to provide for. Andrew stayed out of the way for the most part, but like many young men, he had a few growing pains, including catching a gun charge just a year prior, and some of his homies were allegedly gang affiliated. But after his roadblock, he was now trying to reroute and do the right thing and just focus on his baby girl. He lived at the family home with his grandmother. The popular young man had no shortage on young women who took a liking to him, including one young lady who Andrew had recently started kicking it with. At the time, 21-year-old Armani Rogers, originally from Virginia. The young lady had relocated to Baltimore a few years prior. She was described as fun-loving, outgoing, sweet, and a life of the party. Armani had been in a relationship with a 21-year-old man named Daquan Ferguson. It's not clear how long the two had been together, but according to sources, the young lady was allegedly scared of Daquan, who was known for carrying guns, which he had just came home off a possession charge and was on parole. Some say he would often make threats when Armani wasn't moving the way he wanted her to. But being young, they would often break up just to make up. But on December 8th, 2024, Amani was chilling with Andrew at his house. They were enjoying the evening and eventually fell asleep. As they went into the next morning, around 2 a.m., shots went off in the house. Scared, Andrew's grandmother woke up and ran down the stairs to find a young man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. She called Baltimore County Police, who responded to the family's home to find Andrew had unfortunately already passed away on the scene. They determined he was shot in his sleep. Over 15 shots went off. Ring camera showed two men walk into the home, then seconds later run out. Some alleged that it was a backdoor plot, and a woman with red hair had let the two men in, claiming that it possibly could have been Amani, since it wasn't no forced entry. As the community was all in shock because Towson is considered mostly safe and Andrew was considered a good young man, hours later in West Baltimore around 8 a.m. in Drew Hill Park, city police got another call of a body in the park. When they responded, they found the young woman suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, already gone at the scene. Unfortunately, she was identified as Amani Rogers. An investigation revealed shell casings found on the scene was a match to the ones found at Andrew's house as well, and more than likely, they were fired from the same gun. Amani's family paid for her body to get flown home to Virginia to get laid to rest. As a few weeks later in Baltimore County, Andrew was also getting laid to rest. His family and friends grieved the young man, but later that night, while by the funeral home in Towson, a van full of Andrew's friends were leaving when somebody pulled up and ambushed the van, letting off multiple shots. The driver tried hard to get up out that jam, but the other car was on his heels. Eventually, the van crashed and went up in flames. When police responded to the scene, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. Most would survive their injuries, but unfortunately, 26-year-old Charles Graham Jr. passed away at the scene. Police were confused, and the Towson community couldn't believe all these shootings was happening back to back. Surveillance footage from local businesses caught the ambush, and police alleged that the shooting was possibly gang-related. Now it was questions going around, was the hit on Andrew, Amani, and the funeral shooting all connected? The streets were talking, but at first, police had no suspects. Months would go by before they started getting tips, with people claiming the people who took both Amani and Andrew's life was her boyfriend Daquan and his homeboy, 27-year-old Anthony Jackson. People were also pointing at Daquan for two more shootings in the same area. Both were taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of first-degree hit and other charges, and Daquan also 2 attempts. They both are being held at Baltimore County Detention Center without bail. It's also questions and investigations going on if whether or not they had something to do with the funeral ambush as well. But that's all allegations, and the men haven't been charged with that. Amani's mother claimed just 2 days before her life was taken, Daquan called her and told the young lady, "When I catch you, it's over with. I'm gonna take your life." She was buried in her hometown, back in Virginia. Andrew's grandmother claimed he made a mistake with the gun charge, but he wasn't about that street life at all. When asked about his friends and the funeral shooting, she stated she didn't know what that was about, but she felt the justice system failed her grandson, as Daquan had an active parole violation and wasn't even supposed to be on the streets at the time of the shooting. Multiple people reached out to me about this story a minute ago, but I stayed away from it because there was so much going on and I don't like to speculate. It was all over the place. Some allege Amani backdoored Andrew, and after that, they allegedly took her life so she wouldn't be able to talk to police. Some claim it was all out of jealousy, and Daquan found out Amani was seeing Andrew and snapped. Others feel Andrew might have got caught up in something that put a target on his back, but as of now, both men are innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Andrew, Amani, and Charles. I send my prayers and condolences to all their families. I'm going to leave this one open and let y'all discuss and let me know what y'all think all this is about. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, this is a super crazy story. Like I said, rest in peace to all them people that lost their lives. I definitely send my prayers to their families, but I ain't going to talk too much more about this one. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. That's another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.